G'day everybody, Chris from the Headache and Pain Management Centre here, and today we are talking about MRI and CT scan results. If you've got low back pain, if you've had neck pain and you've had a look at the results and they look a little bit scary, I'm here today to allay some of your fears, because you can often look at the language and kind of think that you're falling apart or crumbling at the seams. But all may not be what you think it is. If you're joining me here, type in below and say hello. So here's the thing, when you've got low back pain, when you've got neck pain, it is actually really common still, unfortunately, to send for scans and then have them reported on and then get very confused about what the scans actually mean. What you might have seen in your scan, and please let us know in the comments if you've had some of these. So, spinal degeneration, osteoarthritis of the spine, and disc degeneration, narrowing of the discs, foraminal stenosis, all of these sorts of really scary sounding words that are happening on your scan report, which may or may not be actually related to your pain at all. But when you read it and you haven't actually had it interpreted or explained to you what it means, it can be very frightening and very scary. What I'm here to tell you though is that a lot of those changes on your MRI or CT scans are actually normal age-related changes. They're not dissimilar to actually having wrinkles on your face, okay? So as obviously you age, you get more and more wrinkles. I'm getting a few here in between my eyes now in my 30s, but what we actually find is that on MRIs and CT scans, you actually have some age-related changes that are very normal. So it's actually quite normal to have degenerative changes in your back or in your neck, because you actually stand and gravity pushes down on your neck and your back as your day goes on. The biggest question is it causing pain? Is this actually what's causing my pain issue? Now here's the thing, when you're actually looking to diagnose a pain issue, you're wanting to see what is actually causing the pain in the first place, because let's face it, when you've got an MRI or CT scan, the result is actually taken when you're lying flat. Okay, so it may not be telling the whole story, or it might be giving a little bit of a misleading story about what's actually going on. The more important thing to find out when you've got some degenerative changes in your spine, if you've got some scary looking things that are happening on your CT scan, is to look functionally at what happens. There's an old saying in medicine land, in physio land, that you should always treat the patient and not the scan. Because here's the thing, we actually did there was a study that was done many years ago, back in the 90s, when they were trying to find out what was normal and what wasn't normal on an MRI and CT scan. And what they did is they got a whole bunch of normal people, that didn't have any issues in terms of pain. And what they found is that over 30% of them had all sorts of really weird changes, including nerve root compression, okay, which we thought before that nerve root compression definitely meant that you would have pins and needles and numbness down your leg. However, what we now know is that you can have all sorts of degenerative changes on your scans, but actually have no pain at all. And on the flip side, you can have all sorts of terrible pain and no issues on the scan at all. So what does this all mean for you and your pain? So here's the thing, when it comes to back pain, when it comes to neck pain, it's usually a movement problem. The way that you're moving is the issue rather than anything to do structurally. So the way that you're moving will affect a couple of things. Firstly, if you're not loading up the correct muscles, you're not moving the correct way, what might happen is it's actually contributing to that degeneration of your spine over time, but it may not cause pain. And then when the pain does come, you then contribute it to the damage, when in the relationship is actually more to do with the way that you're moving as opposed to the structural changes in the back. What we actually find, I'm actually sitting in our lumbar med-X machine at the moment here at the clinic. What we actually find, it's a reduction in the strength of the back that be causing a lot of the problems. So you've actually got issues with the joints and the discs, the way that they're moving and being pulled by your muscles rather than the structural issues on their own. And it's amazing how often, by actually changing the strength and the movement of your back, it can actually change the outcome. It can actually change the pain. It can reduce it significantly. So I guess the take-home message here, when you have a scan, when you have an MRI, when you have a CT, yes, the results will tell you one thing structurally about the way your back looks under your skin, but it doesn't actually tell us anything about the way that your pain is actually behaving, okay? A full assessment, a full movement assessment, a functional assessment, a strength assessment will tell you more about how you're actually moving and how you're functioning day to day and what the impact is of your pain in that regard, rather than just taking a full still frame, 1 second, 1 moment in time photograph of what's going on. Because yeah, if you actually get that right, if you look at your function, looking at your movement and assessing the patient rather than the scan, you are far more likely to get a better outcome with your neck or your back pain. Hey, I hope that's been helpful. If there's any questions, please type in the comments below, and we'll see you again for the next Facebook Live video. Cheers and bye for now.